Well, my wife has had this complaint about the range hood having a short or something happening with the light. When I came in, looks like we've got something that's loose in there that we need to get in and fix. So I'm going to take it apart and look and see what's going on with the wires. If you folks know how to solder, that's probably what's wrong in there. We need to fix a connector. This fan is fairly strong. I don't know if that does much justice, but it's an extremely strong fan, so it probably routed something loose. This vent hood has been up here for quite a few years, so we're going to go inside and see what we can fix. If it's something simple, like a solder, be done real quick, fast, and in a hurry. Otherwise, you may have to order a part. So let's see what Dad can do. What Dad can do. First, we need to disassemble everything. I'm going to go ahead and take apart the things that don't need tools, like the filters, the filter screens. Just pop right out. We take these out periodically and clean them because they do build up a lot of grease and stuff. Beyond that, see if I can take you in here. You see the fan. Now, this fan works. It somewhat pulls the air from the full fan length or full filter length over to this single fan area. And as you can see, when that's open, you've got a few screws that have got to come out. This portion is held, so if we can get you in here, held by the screws here. You folks can see there's a screw right here. And one over here. Let's take those screws out. This forward part will come down, and we'll be able to get into the back side of that fan before we take the face part. All right. So, let me get a screwdriver, and we'll get that down. Okay. Got it set up to take the screws out. I'm going to go ahead and kill the light. But folks, before we get into the wiring, we're going to go out to the box and make sure that we shut the power off. But for right now, we're going to open up the fan. Now the stovetop has a rim around it, so it'll be a great spot to keep the screws, and they won't roll off and get lost. All right, so as you see, as soon as I move that second screw, remove the second screw, we've got it coming out. All right, now, again, folks, this is where all the grease and oil goes. Ours is in pretty good condition because I clean it pretty frequent, and my wife's a clean freak just like myself. So that's just from the last, I don't know, a little bit of time from frying and cooking. All right, so not too bad, especially for something that's 15 years old. Now, I make it a practice to clean everything when I take it apart. So that'll be cleaned up. Now, inside here, we can see the fan and everything. Let me get some, let me get some light in here real quick so you folks can see exactly what I'm dealing with. Okay, folks, I got a little more light and I moved you to a different position so you can see what I'm working with. The screws that I was talking about a little earlier are right here. Let's get my hand in there. But there was one right here, and the other one was on the opposite side, right over here. All right, so those two screws came out and we were able to take the pan or cover plate off that channels everything over to this fan. Now, the fan is pretty clean. As I said before, we did some cleaning in here months ago. It gets really bad in here, folks, so you want to look at that and see if there's anything that's built up or anything built up on all the wiring over here that may be causing an arc. It looks like in our situation, of course, none of the problem is coming from it not getting power, but it seems like it's the power that's going to this particular light over here on the left-hand side. So as you go in, folks, I'd look at all of that stuff. Again, making sure that it's all clean. This is kind of in your daily use of your stove and stuff. You want to make sure everything's clean because you can get a long lifespan out of some of these things if the electronics stay clean, as long as there's no manufacturing defects and it ends up at some premature failure. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take this forward panel piece off where the actual lights are. You'll see that there are 3 screws. You got one right here, there's one right here, and one on the far side. Now folks, I'm going to take those screws out and I'm going to drop that panel piece down. We're going to take a look before we shut the power off because I'm going to want to turn it on to see what's happening with the wires as I move them around. So I'm going to go ahead and take those off. Now folks, I like to start when I've got a 3 set up like this, 3 separate screws. I prefer to take the outer screws out first. And then the center screw, and I'll tell you why. If I take the center screw out last, it gives me a better way to support whatever it is that's going to be falling down, things overhead. So that's just the way I do it. All right here where I'm holding it, I've got the screw right here. I'm going to take that and put it down, and the panel was supported with my hand right here where I was holding the screw. So when you're working by yourself, like I do quite often, it helps to have some sort of idea of what you're doing before you dive into it. Now I believe we should be clear to come down. Nope, I am wrong. Okay, so I forgot about the other 2 screws here. I've been in here before for cleaning and things of that sort. So there's 2 other screws. I want to make sure I show those to you as well. There's a screw right here on this corner, and one over on this corner. All right, so I should have taken those off first, but no panic. I'm going to go ahead and take them off now. All right, see how that's kind of falling down on us? The preference would have been to get that done and then the other. So we'll get this last one down and we'll have the panel free. Now, if you're nervous about wiring and electricity, you're not by yourself. Most of the handymen that I do know will go as far as power and no further. It can be very dangerous and nerve-wracking, especially if you've had a little spark or something happen, maybe an arc that you saw. It can be very off-putting. So safety is the best way to go. If you need to defer to an expert or someone who's skilled with wiring, then do so. Now, folks, what I'm doing here is I'm keeping everything away from the wires, meaning my hands, everything. And I'm just going to bring it down here. Let me get you back so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. Okay. So, folks, all I did was drop it straight down. I'm going to go ahead and lean it. I don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on the wires, but that shouldn't do us too bad right here. Okay. So, in here we can see, turn the light so you folks can see that a little better. In here we can see that it looks like the wires are okay over here. Doesn't seem to be anything frayed or loose. But on this side, some lighting for you. Yeah, we got a little bit of char in there. Okay. Get that down so you can see that. So that's likely our problem. We're going to have to get in here and solder that. And once we've got a nice secure connection, we shouldn't have that sporadic problem with the lighting anymore. Let me go get my soldering gun, or soldering iron, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and disconnect this. There's a power disconnect right here. That'll make it a little easier for me to manipulate it and work it. I can take it to the bench and work on it. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect that. Let me put you guys back. That makes it a whole lot easier than some of the older stuff where they don't have these disconnects for repairs or replacement. And you'll be in here lying upside down trying to do some of the work. So let's go ahead and take this up. All right. Got that down. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the multimeter and the soldering station and see what we can fix. So, folks, upon a little closer inspection here, it seems as though there was a little bit of corrosion at one of the contact points here, if you can see that. I'm going to clean that up beforehand because that could cause a little bit of an issue with inconsistent contact for the power to flow through. So we'll give that a shot real quick here. May not need to solder or anything. So I'm going to clean that up real quick and let's see what happens there. So folks, with a little sandpaper and some scrubbing there, I cleaned that up, put the light back in, and let's test it now. Got it plugged in here again. And I've run the bulb in. So I went ahead and plugged the panel back in so that we'd have power. I'm going to go ahead and test it. Again, it's in a safe condition. So let's give it a shot. All right, we've got light at all three settings. Yes. Okay. So in this case, turns out there was just a little bit of a corrosion issue. So folks, what I wanted to show you here was, well, actually I thought I was going to end up showing you how to do a solder repair on an item like this. The way it was behaving, I figured it was probably a minor thing that needed to be done in order for it to be repaired. Turns out that it was, but it was even easier than I thought. So before you spend money trying to get someone to come out and make a repair on something like this, folks, give it a shot. If you're afraid of the power and things of that sort, by all means, leave that to someone else. But if you've got a little bit of skill, you're handy to a certain degree, you can do some of these things yourself. I personally started doing this type of thing long ago because I was fairly handy, but also fairly frugal. Folks, a lot of these things, again, you can fix yourself. It may not be as bad as you thought. You got to pay a service call fee all sorts of things, just for someone to come out and find what I just found. So give it a shot. I'm going to put this back together, going the opposite of what we did to take it down. And I think we'll be good to go. Wife will be happy. Now, folks, I was a little off on the time frame this thing has been up here. My daughter will be 17 November 13th of this year, 2025. This was put up probably about 4 years before she was born. So that puts me about 21 years. And I just want to show you something. Granted, it was back when Kenmore was a really, really good brand. And I bought the Kenmore Elite in 21 years, roughly. Look at that. All right, I'm showing you this for a reason. Look at this. Stainless steel, yes. But even the other portion that take the grease and everything in. You folks can look at your own, or if you do this type of work, or you're doing kind of cleaning, you know these vent hoods, when people cook a lot, because I don't eat out very much, you know these things are usually really, really nasty. But my point to showing you all of this is what I tell you through a lot of my videos. Cleanliness is next to godliness in some statements. But even beyond that, folks, it prolongs your lifespan of things. It gives you less work to do on a regular basis. And when you got to go into something like this, it's really easy because everything is clean and readable. When you talk about things like any of the stickers or panels or anything like that you need information off of. It keeps smells and stuff down when you keep everything clean. It's a big difference. So everything has been cleaned up and dried down, and we're going to install it. Again, just going to do the opposite of what we did to take it down. So here we go. Folks, I use everything I have at my disposal when I'm doing this type of work. And a big head comes in handy sometimes. All right, from here, it's easy running them. Now, I'm a very traditional man, and I try to equate things for folks so they can look at things a different way from time to time. There's so much that we can do that we may not think we can. During the times I was coming through, this was more like the video games. Right? There's levels of complexity to it, challenges. So, guys, while you're out there trying to prove yourself, or you're trying to be a good husband, father, or son, try and attack or tackle some of these things. You'll find it's challenging. Just like you buy a new video game, you may buy a new tool that'll help you with whatever it is you're working on. let's give it another try since we've got it together. But this is what makes us traditional men. If you give a woman a house, she'll make it a home. Right? So we maintain it. And we do traditional things like repair it. All right, Zen, let's check it. Still working great. Oh, actually, let's see, we've got this one now. There we go. They are in, they are still working great. So we didn't have an issue with the wires and stuff getting kinked or anything was as we put it in. So the problem has been solved. We're going to continue putting this together. Now what I was saying before is this is quite exciting when you got problems that you got to solve. Makes you think. And for me, it's the equivalent of what you guys are doing with your video games. It's a challenge. Learn how to do it, and you'll feel really good about the skill that you create from doing work like this. And more so than anything, just imagine the money I would have spent if this was a service call for someone to come out and find something as simple as what I found. A little bit of corrosion at the metal-to-metal contact. Now, as I said a minute ago, there are many people who refuse to work with electrical things like this, which is fine. But that's the exception and not the rule, folks. If the electrical stuff is going to be your exception, that's fine, but go ahead and give it a shot. Try to attack some of these other things that you have around the house. Look it up, or go down in the comments and let me know if there's something in particular that you're trying to fix that you want some instruction on, or maybe some insight. I'll be happy to help you out. Not everybody has a dad or an uncle or son or big brother that's skilled with these things. So you got Dad online. If there's anything you guys want to see me do or need some advice on, go down in the comments and let me know. And we'll see what Dad can do about it. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe.